Thanks so much, John. It's our final day in SD, Petco Park. And they've already wrapped up a winning record in the season series for a 13th consecutive year. Taking them 7 of 9 so far. They make it 8 of 10 today. Next to Oral Hershiser, I'm Stephen Nelson. We have Kirsten Watson with us as well. But it's been another successful series so far for the Dodgers against the Padres.
Yeah, continue to push these Padres out of the playoff picture, and you can help to finish that off by you already won the series. Well, don't split this one.
Right, and the Dodgers want to also turn things around, their fortunes on getaway days as well. But they've opened up a more comfortable lead in the West as of late, and they've been led by their all-stars and MVP candidates at the top of the order.
You put them at the top of the order so they get the most at-bats. Every time you move down the batting order, you get 20 less at-bats. Well, you want these guys to get all those at-bats at the end of the game, whether it's Mookie and his 13-game hitting streak, which is the best active one in MLB, or Freddie, who's been hot since the middle of July. These guys are amazing. And the new guys also are chipping in. Great acquisitions around the trade deadline. Ahmed, Kike, Lance, keep doing your thing.
Lance did that yesterday, and he like Kike, have echoed the sentiments. So happy to be here and in the thick of this race. Now it's Tony Gonsolin's turn. Kirsten Watson, what's the plan for him today?
Yeah, so for Tony Gonsolin, 2 starts ago, his pitch count got up. He threw about 109 pitches. So in his last outing, they reeled in that leash a little bit. While his stuff was better in a good spot, he was about the 84 pitch range. So tonight, Dave Roberts wants to see a continuation of his last outing, keeping him back on track, getting to that all-star level again. The pitch count for him will likely be within that 90 range, but he does have the bullpen support behind him. The only guys he wants to stay away from are Brusdar Graterol as well as Yency Almonte.
You talk about bullpen support. What about lineup support? They got after it early yesterday. Can they continue that trend today? Yes, James, it is almost time for the first pitch. Mookie Betts will lead off the game against Seth Lugo when we come back. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. You can save on the action-packed Nissan lineup today at the Nissan Thrill to Drive sales event. Speaking of driving, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and the Dodger offense has been humming along this month. Better than 7.5 runs per game in the month of August, 300 team average, 11 stolen bases, and this engine continues to rev when there are 2 outs in an inning. The 21 runs they played against the Padres, 15 with 2 out. Now the Dodgers starting lineup, driven by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. Mookie Betts leading off, playing second today. Freddie Freeman behind him. Will Smith has the catching duties. Max Muncy, welcome back to the starting lineup as the DH in front of David Peralta in left, Jason Hayward in right. Kike Hernandez starting at third base and batting 7th. James Outman and Miguel Rojas will finish things up for Dave Roberts on this getaway day against Seth Lugo, the veteran right-hander for the Padres.
He is now in their rotation. You see the 16 starts. He was out with a calf injury. Came up with a new slider grip after he came back from that calf injury. He will throw the slider and the curveball to righties, but the breaking ball, the most off-speed pitch he will use against the lefties, as we see his whole arsenal here. He will throw the curveball more to left-handers, and really the curveball is his foundational piece. That is the piece that he is going to go to get key outs and to keep the Dodgers off balance.
Lugo came off the injured list towards the end of June, and since then he's allowed 3 runs or fewer in 7 of his 8 turns. That's an ERA of 3.04. A little bit more than 47 innings.
It could happen in a hurry against him, or it could be a lot of outs because he loves to pound the zone. And so talk about pace of play. It should be pretty quick here today with these 2 guys on the mound. Tony Gonsolin can fill the zone when he wants to, and so can Lugo.
Now Mookie Betts put his hit streak and on-base streak on the line for the first time tonight. Lugo gets a strike 1 call to kick off the ball game. On Lugo's 0-1. Mookie gets the hands out of the way. And Lugo squeezed 1-1. We flash back to yesterday. Number 30 for Betts.
You know what? Intimidation at the top of the order comes in a lot of speed usually, but Mookie is speed and power.
Second strike poured in by Lugo. He's 5 for 13 in the series is Mookie. And it's the longest active streaks going. On base at 22 and hit at 13. He's behind the 1-2, fouled back.
So one thing this Dodger lineup does, they can hit with 2 strikes, one of the best in baseball. And the 2-out RBIs, of course, are always there. They lead Major League Baseball with that.
On another 1-2, Mookie swings and delivers another souvenir. Fans pouring in on a perfect sunny day at Petco Park.
These fans have supported this team through thick and thin. They stepped out and assembled an all-star roster, and these fans have come out all year, even through their struggles.
Another 1-2. And Lugo was doing his K strut, and that was called ball 2. That was like 3 inches better than the first pitch that was called strike 1.
That ball is completely on the plate.
Wow. All right, so Mookie will take another life and spoil another pitch from Lugo.
This is a typical Dodger at bat at the top of the order where they just grind the pitcher to death. Whether they get on base or not, it really fatigues pitchers by the time they get to the bottom of the order.
Too high. Count goes full. Now with 30 home runs, Mookie 5 off his career high sent last year. The payoff. Strike 3 called. So that was a 9-pitch AB for Mookie. Yesterday, Freddie had one that went 10 pitches, and he took old friend Rich Hill deep to right.
That's a lot of information to get from the pitcher, and then finally read it correctly at the end.
First pitch, lace to left. It is going to tail out of play.
The home run yesterday, the 10th pitch, a strike-breaking ball. It starts behind Freddie. It ends up over the right field wall.
Checks up on ball 1. Freeman was just named the player of the week in the National League, and you can understand in the last 2 weeks he's batting close to 500, 491 coming into today.
He's got a chance to be player of the year. He keeps this up. Definitely 1-2 in the MVP race, maybe 1, 2, 3, including Mookie.
And the 2-strike pitch coming, and Freeman in survival mode fouls it away.
Lugo's got great life on his 2-seam fastball right now. When he gets on top of it, it'll have a little sinking action, but he's got great tailing action right now that fooled Mookie when it started in the left-hand batter's box. Caught that outside corner.
You just cannot get rid of him easily.
As a pitcher, when you face these 2 guys at the top of the order and it takes so much work to get through them, and then maybe they're out there setting the table for others, you start to over-try.
Freeman grounds it to the right side. It's Ji-Man Choi at first base, who will take it himself.
That's good hustle from Choi right there to save his pitcher's energy and take it himself. Most first basemen kind of lay back and make the pitcher run all the way over there. Much appreciated when you're a starter.
So 2 out for Will Smith. Had Sunday off. Quickly behind 0-2.
8 foul balls now by the Dodgers in the first 3 hitters. Talk about building a pitch count.
Smith watches ball one low. Has a few hits in the series. 2 of the 3 for extra bases, including his 14th home run. That's a bullet up the middle. A 2-out base hit for Smith.
Nice to see Will Smith get back on track. He was being pretty quiet coming into this series. Last game against Oakland started to look better at the plate. Had a lot of strikeouts on the homestand, but now starting to barrel the ball up.
Good to see Max Muncy back in there. Watching ball one. Time now for the Bounty quick stats. The Dodger offense with 2 outs. 269 runs scored, most in Major League Baseball. And 15 of the 21 scored so far this series have been with 2 down in an inning. Muncy puts it in the air, high in the air, left field. Soto fighting the sun and catching the 3rd out at the top of the 1st inning. All right, Tony, you're up. Tony Gonsolin will kick off his start against Ha-Seong Kim. We return. Ha-Seong Kim will lead off as the 3rd baseman today, giving Manny Machado a day off. He's cleaning up as the DH. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Juan Soto between those 2. Then the bottom half, Xander Bogaerts at short, Jake Cronenworth at second, Ji-Man Choi with another start at first base since coming over from Pittsburgh, Luis Campusano and Trent Grisham, the last 2. Here's the Indeed player resume on Tony Gonsolin.
Well, Tony Gonsolin against these Padres has been very good. And against the Padres, the pitch mix that has been most successful has been the fastball split combo. The slider and the curveball get used a little less, but the fastball split combo against the Padres and really the rest of the league has been at its best.
Gonsolin's first pitch yanked to Kim. It was the 2nd longest active hitting streak in Major League Baseball, behind Mookie Betts. Kim has a hit in 12 consecutive games. Batting .439 in that span.
You could see why he's hitting so high right now during this series. He's had some good swings where he's right in balance and very powerful, and then he's had some very awkward swings where the eye-hand coordination has taken over and put the ball in play and gotten hits.
And if the Padres were having a better season as a team, perhaps Kim as an individual would be getting more of the spotlight, which his play has warranted. That's driven to center. Outman reading it well. 1 away.
There's an East Coast bias when it comes to stars being born because of, they just don't stay up late to watch the home games of West Coast teams. So you have to do a lot more when you play on the West Coast to get that East Coast media to follow you.
The Dodgers and Padres helping those folks out with this day game on a Monday before all the night games kick off in the majors. Fernando Tatis Jr. waves at the first pitch.
Very interesting to see how the Padres engage in this game. If splitting with the Dodgers at home is important to them individually and as a team. The quality of their at-bats seems to wane and go back and forth as far as the intensity and kind of the mood of their team. They have so much talent, but they don't always play with it turned on.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Tatis, and I think that's what's been the most frustrating team to this Padres fan base, which, as you alluded to earlier, has ridden with them because the team's all in right on 2023 with all the moves that they've made in the last few years. But this is the only team in Major League Baseball that is yet to win 4 more games in a row. Nice play by Kike at third. That's the hustle to get it. There was a little bobble. And now checking on Tatis. He seems okay. Good glove work, just couldn't get the throw over quick enough.
The ball comes out of his glove here, so he has to re-grip, and that re-gripping gives Tatis one more step to make him safe at first.
Speaking of the Dodger defense, let's take a look at it. Presented by Defender. Kike Hernandez making his first start at the hot corner since, wow, September 27th, 2019.
They gave Tatis a hit on that.
And that would be the first hit of the series for Tatis. Board for Soto. Bounce to Freeman. That's 3, 6, 3. He has made that play routine. Double play ends the inning for Tony Gonsolin.
3 to 6, back to 3, over to 4, then to 5, and then into the stands.
Did I catch a niner in there? What are you talking on, a walkie-talkie?
That is teamwork.
It keeps the game scoreless after 1 full at Petco Park. David Peralta will lead off the second for the Dodgers, taking a strike from Seth Lugo.
All the Dodgers needed on that double play was a fake bucket of water with paper in it to throw into the stands.
Sprayed foul by Peralta. We said Freddie's made that routine, 3-6-3, because he's among the league leaders. He and Christian Walker, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the two most 3-6-3s started and finished in the big leagues.
Well, and he doesn't get lazy after feeding the ball to second. He takes responsibility to get back to the bag, where a lot of first basemen just continue their momentum towards second and then let the pitcher or the second baseman come in behind. And it's a really hard play for most pitchers, the non-athletic ones.
1-2's grounded to Choi. And they're put out for the first baseman. There's Jason Hayward. Hayward, like Peralta, haven't seen a lot of them in the last week because the Dodgers have been facing so many left-handed starters.
Oakland A's threw 3 left-handed starters at him. Blake Snell, left-handed starter here. It's okay for the veteran legs to get a rest every once in a while. Doesn't seem to bother him at all when he has a few days off. Comes back locked in.
He awaits the 1-0 and gives it a ride to right. Tatis just inside the line will bring in the second out.
The new guys have been doing well, and especially Kike Hernandez. As he steps into the box, you used to say, okay, it's kind of an all or nothing swing, but the contact has been there, the power has been there, and the little quick fix that they had with the hitting coaches is really working.
He's got hits in 7 of his first 10 games back with his old club. Five of his 11 hits as a Dodger have been doubles, too. A couple yesterday.
You know, he's been pulling the ball very well since coming back to the Dodgers, but he's pulling it in a way that he is still staying on the pitch that's away from him, which tells me the mechanics are really good. We see Mookie cover the plate really well, but also is best when he's pulling the ball. That's the way Kike is. He's best when he's pulling the ball, but also not doing it in a way where he's pulling his front shoulder and his front hip out. Difference between having a good swing where you're staying on the ball and hitting it out front compared to everything is bailing and you're pulling it.
Ahead of Lugo, the 3-1 is in there for a strike.
Kike mad at himself right there. The body language said, why didn't I pull the trigger on that one? Oh.
Grounded to second. A 1-2-3 second for Lugo. On the go on the Spectrum Sportsnet app. Sportsnet LA is available 24/7 to authenticated subscribers, so download the Spectrum Sportsnet app. Scoreless game in the bottom of the second. Tony Gonsolin will work against 4, 5, and 6 for the Padres. That's Machado, Bogarts, and Cronenworth. Tony only needed 9 pitches to get through that first frame. Well,
and no split changes. Fastball, 5 of them. Slider, 4 of them.
One grounded to Kike at third. Waited for it, collected himself, and throws across to retire Machado. Xander Bogaerts working on a little 4-game hitting streak. 4 for 13 in the series. Strike 1 for Gonsolin.
There's the split change right there. Nobody on base. Tony with kind of an abbreviated windup / stretch here. There's a little jig there to get kind of some momentum. Comes set and delivers.
Called ball 2.
It's kind of like a golf waggle at the beginning of this.
And make that delivery more consistent. On a line to Outman in center. 2 down. Well, fans, you know, if Tony and company can strike out 10 Padres today, then tomorrow everyone would get a free Jumbo Jack. Jack in the Box in the LA area. Go to the counter, buy a large drink, get a free Jumbo Jack. It's as simple as that. Is there a reason why a pitcher would go to this, you know, a modified stretch with nobody on?
Well, it's easier to hold your mechanics together because there's less movement, less weight shift. So you're sacrificing momentum to create a more consistent delivery that usually is a little less powerful, and it takes a little bit more work to pitch from the stretch, because you can create that linear motion when you have a windup where you kind of go back and then forward, and but your posture's hard to keep sometimes in a windup, where your head and your spine angle start to change, your knee flex changes. A lot easier to feel your load into your back leg, a lot easier to have a more consistent leg kick. Where in a windup, you know, you're rocking maybe to the side or backwards with your non-plant leg, and then all of a sudden you're planting your back leg into the rubber, or half on and half off. And so they're just more moving parts. You're simplifying it to be more consistent, but definitely a little bit more work.
Cronenworth got a piece.
It's kind of like a hitter that maybe cuts down on his leg kick or spreads out in his stance at the plate, just to kind of eliminate some movements that are inconsistent or you're not real good at repeating.
And given that that has been sort of an issue for Tony in 2023, all of that now makes even more sense.
Easier to stay on line too, you know, because your hips and your shoulders are kind of already set on the exact angle you want, where when you have a leg kick from a windup, your hips can close or underclose at different times.
Another 0-2 coming to Cronenworth. Ground ball. Rojas, the backhand stop. So after a 9-pitch first, Gonsolin has a 10-pitch second. Scoreless as we move to the third.
Support the Dodgers into the home stretch at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, collectibles, and more. Gear up with the Dodgers at MLBshop.com.
0-0 beginning of the third. Strike one below the zone to James Outman.
This has now been ruled an error. So take the hit away from Tatis. Put the 0 in the hit column for the Padres.
Outman scalds one to center field. Leadoff base hit. Yeah, that change was just announced as we were in commercial break. Taking a hit away from Tatis was a bit of a surprise. James Outman continuing to crank baseballs like that. It's becoming more familiar.
Yesterday's game was done by ESPN, and I happened to be out in my car listening to the San Diego broadcast, and when James makes an out, they call him the out man. Not very nice of the Padre radio announcers.
Miguel Rojas grounds it to third. Kim will go to second for one, and the Padres will get 2.
5-4-3 records 2 outs. The Dodgers go back to the top of the order with Mookie Betts and nobody on because of this play. These two teams are playing like they got planes to catch, and they both do. Dodgers continue on the road to Arizona. San Diego going on the road.
Seattle.
I knew you'd fill that in for me. Mini me, you complete me.
Mookie struck out in the first.
That's not very nice. Somebody from the truck just called me a dork.
Yeah, but like,
I feel like
it was said with an endearing tone.
Did you hear it too?
No, but I.
That's like embarrassing somebody in public.
Which you've never done.
No, no. Are you talking about embarrass myself?
Yeah.
Hey, one of the biggest qualities of having a complete ego where you feel okay about yourself is being able to laugh at yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can't laugh at yourself, boy,
what are we doing?
It's going to be a tough life.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Betts. Another one to into the net. It's not just that Betts is getting on base, he's also continuing to slug. He's firmly in the MVP discussion in the National League with Freddie behind him. Lugo punches his ticket for the second time today. The El Diablo Burger is back, and My Rewards members can get a single for just $6.66 on the Carl's Jr. app. It is 88 back home in LA, 76 here at Petco Park. Fourth and final game of this set between these two teams. Dodgers have taken 2 of the first 3, and 7 of 9 coming into today away from the Padres. One ball, 1 strike on Ji-Man Choi. Brought over from Pittsburgh at the deadline in the Rich Hill trade. Falls behind 1-2. So you made note of it, the scoring change that was made. In case you missed it, Fernando Tatis Jr. got on in the first inning, hitting one to Kike Hernandez at third. There's a little bit of a bobble in the transition, and Tatis reached, initially scored a single. It was changed to an E5 on Kike. So
yeah, when the ball hits in the leather, pretty much the official score is saying that was routine, and the fact that he can't get it out of his glove cleanly turns it into an error. Just like if you booted it and the ball went 10-15 feet away from you, the guy got to first, that'd be an error. This one only got away from him about a foot and never came down and hit the ground. Official score with the read on that one right now.
Two and two the count on Choi. As the bottom of the order is set to face Gonsolin here in the bottom of the third. Here comes the 3-2. Tails away, and it's a leadoff walk for Ji-Man Choi. Here's a word from Land Rover.
This Dodgers broadcast is brought to you by the 2023 Defender 130.
Well, the last time there was a base runner in this game against Gonsolin, responded in kind, getting a 3-6-3 from Juan Soto. See what he does here against the catcher Luis Campusano.
(3-6-3, 4-5) right here. They can't have the same celebration. It would only be the first two outs. They can't do Harlem Globetrotter moves as they run off the field. Trying to do a little Sweet Georgie Brown whistle.
Tried, not very well. That's driven toward left center. Outman racing after it, and that ball is gone. For Campusano, his third home run of the season, and it pushes the Padres in front 2-0.
Padres have been getting some power out of their catching position. Sanchez has been hitting the long ball, and now this one is not a double play, but it gets 2 runs for the Padres. The right trajectory, the right velocity, some backspin, and some distance. Enough.
Trent Grisham continues to see Tony Gonsolin well. He's now 7 for 14 lifetime.
Tony right back in the strike zone. A fastball in the outer half. You're right. Grisham seeing it well, hitting it well. Barrels this one up. No chance for any of the infielders at that ball hit that hard.
After facing the minimum through the first 2, the Padres are getting to Gonsolin here in the third. That's a base hit into left by Kim.
12 pitches into this inning and no outs. Tony was averaging 9.5 pitches an inning and getting 3 outs in the first 2 innings. Kim's been swinging a hot bat. He hits a line drive just like Grisham.
Now 13-game hitting streak form. It will inspire a mound visit from Mark Pryor. So all 4 have reached safely in this inning. 3 consecutive hits against Gonsolin.
Pitches per inning is definitely going to go up for Tony. Lugo averaging 14 pitches an inning so far through 3. And if it feels a little faster than the game on Saturday, that's the one where Snell was averaging over 21 pitches a game. Mark Pryor giving him a little break with that visit because the last 3 pitches that Tony Gonsolin has thrown have all been hits.
There's Fernando Tatis Jr. Reached on an error, now has 2 aboard with nobody out. Padres already up 2-0 thanks to the 2-run blast from Campusano. Gonsolin has to hunker down. Make that 4 hits on 4 straight pitches for the Padres. One gets to the wall. 2 runs will score. A 2-run double for Tatis Jr. Now a 4-0 deficit for the Dodgers.
It's a really good swing, a waist-high fastball, and that's like you do in the cage or tee work. That was right there in the middle of the plate. Tatis did not move it, miss it at all. Kim with a great break, reading that ball in the gap, scored easily from first base.
And the emotion from Tatis Jr., who has been scuffling. Now he has his first hit of the series. And now Tony Gonsolin has Juan Soto.
Quiet as the crowd has been is as loud as they are now, the other end of the spectrum.
Pulled foul, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Houston had talked to Dave Roberts before the game, and they thought they would stretch Tony, depending on performance, to about 90 pitches.
Pulled to the right side. Scooped up by Betts. Tatis moves up to third. 1 down. Manny Machado grounded out to third in the 2nd inning. That's where Tatis Jr. is here. Ball 1 pulled by Gonsolin.
There's a slider right there, and that's a pitch he's had to rely on because the split change is not landing right now. So the Padres can kind of default to fastball slider if it's going to be a strike. There's one.
Big swing, big miss for Machado.
Off speed, split change up, but had decent movement.
Lifted to center. Tatis Jr. ready to tag. Outman underneath it. Charge in to make the catch. And the throw home. But high. Good attempt from Outman in center, but now 5-0 San Diego.
Fundamentally sound attempt in center field, but yeah, just too deep to get Tatis. The routine productive out from Soto moved him over. The sac fly scored him.
Another big inning for the Padres. It's still not over. 2 down. Xander Bogaerts up. And called the ball.
Padres had a big inning in the 8th in the game that they won. Here they're doing it a little earlier.
So now 12 of the 20 runs they've scored against the Dodgers in this series have come in 2 innings. That 7-run 8th on Saturday and 5 here in the 3rd today.
They're getting it done with runners in scoring position here today and stringing some hits together, even though they have the home run. But the home run ball is really how they've only been tacking on some runs against the Dodgers. The consistent quality at bats have not been there in this series. They've just had the 2 explosions.
Two balls and a strike on Bogaerts. The pitch from Gonsolin. is ball 3. Yeah, these two teams, these last 4 days, they've been flipping the script, right? In the opener, the Dodgers, it was a late inning comeback. On Saturday, the Padres late inning comeback. Yesterday, the Dodgers punched them in the mouth early, jumped out to a 6-0 lead. And then today, the Padres up 5-0 that's flown out to center by Bogarts. So at last, the third ends for Gonsolin and the Dodgers. Some work to do for the lineup.
There's a kids run as well as a virtual run. Go to Dodgers.com/run to sign up, and you can receive one of these special limited edition Clayton Kershaw bobbleheads.
Yeah, run like Kersh, Kirsten. We're going to see Kersh pitch here in the next week or so. That's the hope. That is the plan for the Dodgers. Right now, they find themselves in a 5-0 hole. Freddie Freeman leading off the 4th. Freddie with a base hit to center field.
Crazy good, crazy consistent. Player of the week. Deserves it. Should be about the player of the month of the last month or so.
We've had some hard hit baseballs against Lugo today, but all 3 hits singles. The first one came off the bat of this man, Will Smith.
Over 20 swings for the Dodgers and not many misses, only 2 misses so far. So getting pitching to contact and really pounding the zone.
Serve to center.
League average is around 48% of the time throwing a strike. Lugo in the zone today almost 65%. So he is known for pounding the zone and is even above his own average.
Now working with a comfortable lead. Now, how comfortable against this Dodger offense? Yeah, I think pitchers would debate that. Ball 1 to Max Muncy.
Lugo hasn't gotten much run support from the Padres this year. They've creeped over it with these 5 runs today of what he normally gets. So he's enjoying this early run support, something that he hasn't seen much of.
He also hasn't gotten much support from the bullpen behind him, especially of late. And that post-IL stretch that he's in right now, where he's been really good. ERA just above 3. It's 3-0 on Muncy now. That's across 8 games, and San Diego has lost 6 of them. And in those 8 games, the bullpen has 5 blown saves, giving up 21 runs. 29 in the 3rd.
Hence go out and get Josh Hader. Try and finish the 9th off for these Padres, but they haven't had many leads yet since he's been acquired.
They got Suarez back from injury. They acquired Barlow from the Kansas City Royals. The 3-1 to Muncy. Gets the outside corner to fill up the count.
Dodgers have scored most of their runs in this series with the home run. Muncy capable of that.
Above the zone, ball 4. Here's a quick word from Morongo.
Flamingo Fridays, SoCal's best nighttime pool party.
First and second, 1 away, David Peralta. After grounding out his first time up. Now 4 for his last 10. Again, limited plate appearances recently against all the left-handed starters. Lugo checking on Freeman. delivering to Peralta, who pulls it down the line. That ball's fair. Freeman will score. Muncy gets the stop sign. An RBI double for Peralta, and the Dodgers begin to chip away.
You've already won the season series. You're already splitting this series no matter what happens today. But these Dodgers fall down by 5 runs. They don't lose their concentration or their determination. Come right back at the Padres. This double right here not only scores a run, but sets it up to make this game very close. You could score these other 2. Padres caused a mound visit. Dodgers turn right around, and they cause a mound visit. How many celebrations was that in one?
Combine them. Freddie and Freight Train. Because Freddie scored on the Freight Train's double. It makes sense. There are layers to the onion that is the Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw. Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach, continuing to converse with the infield and Seth Lugo before the right-hander faces Jason Hayward.
He went fastball in with Jason, and he flew out right down the right field line. He almost got the barrel completely to it, but had to kind of open up so much that he got under it. See if they stay in on him. Don't let him extend the long arms that he has.
Oh, we would love some Jason Hayward cannon fire here. If this man puts a barrel on a baseball, you're going to hear it far and wide. Just like that, a rocket. One hops the wall. 2 runs will score. Tatis can't handle it in right. A 2-run double for J-Hay.
Ball is blistered. Listen to this. It's a higher pitch sound. The crack of his bat as hard as he hits it. There are guys you want to come out and watch batting practice because they're just amazing the way they hit and they put on a show. Well, J-Hay, you want to come out and listen to his batting practice.
Audio well captured and displayed by the Don Francisco. 1-0 on Kike Hernandez. That was 106.9 off the bat of Jason Hayward. Back-to-back run-scoring doubles for the Dodgers has brought them within 2. Huge cut by Kike.
Little slip in the lime green shoes. The old Adrian Beltre down to one knee swing.
What's all of a sudden a 2-run game. Kike Hernandez has gotten ahead of Lugo 3-1.
Lugo not getting that outside corner we saw early on with Mookie Betts. I think that last pitch to Kike caught a break.
Dodgers on this little double run. Can the doubles machine that is Kike keep it rolling? Fouled back, and the count is now full.
We continue to see the new guys contribute. And I don't know if you can call Jason Hayward and David Peralta new anymore, but those RBI doubles, both from those veteran left-handed bats. Now the newest of guys up there.
Look out. Ball 4 high.
The newest of the old guys. But Kike's not old as far as age, but he is an old guy as far as a Dodger. Gets the walk.
He's going to turn 32 in a couple of weeks, I believe.
When Kike gets old, that really makes me feel old.
James Outman has already pushed his on-base streak to 12 games thanks to his 3rd inning single. He was wiped off the base paths by a double play. He watches a ball. Was really busy on Friday in the opener. Home run robbery in center, a home run off his bat, stolen base. The 1-1 base hit to right. The bases will be loaded. Oh, good work by Campusano backing up a throw in from Tatis.
You don't put anything by this Dodger offense. In August, averaging over 7 runs a game. The challenge here is you give up 5 in the inning before, the half inning before. Can you take the field with a lead possibly?
Big spot for Miguel Rojas. Strike 1 from Lugo.
Rojas gets on and doesn't record an out. This could get really ugly with Betts and Freeman coming.
Seth Lugo definitely knows that. 0-1 in the air left center. This could be trouble. Xander Bogaerts. Wow. Basket catch. Oh, he didn't catch it.
No. It fell in the triangle. I think it might hit glove. No, he just waves at it, and his legs and his body block the ball out, and it was not caught. There are a lot of fans that even think it was caught. They're booing right now.
Okay, 5-4. Bases stay loaded, 1 out.
Like I said, this could get real ugly.
Ball 1 to Betts. Ball 2.
The runners have to read this too. 50% of the ballpark had this ball as caught. The Dodger base runners, they did not. Outman diving back made everybody think, like, what is going on?
6 straight have reached. Three and 0.
Oh, this inning has creeped between Lugo's ears. He's a guy who fills the zone. Now you got balls that are falling in, balls that are hit hard, base runners at all bases, and a 3-0 count to Mookie Betts.
Nowhere to put him. And Betts swings away. 3-0. Driven deep left field. Gone. Betts with number 31. It's a grand slam.
They are going to play defense with the lead. Down 5-0. Only 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And 8 runs across.
That ties a franchise record. 11 grand slams in 2023. This one flips the scoreboard and puts LA up by 3. Pitching change made for the Padres. Petco Park, stunned in silence after the loud bang off the bat of Betts. The Dodgers have batted around here, Oral. The Dodgers forcing Bob Melvin to bring in Steven Wilson.
They knocked Lugo out, and they did it in a big way. He allowed 6 total runs over his previous 3 starts. They give him 8 earnings in an inning, and really in 1 out.
That's low to Will Smith. It was the first out of the 4th. Fly ball to center field.
Since the All-Star break, the Dodgers on getaway days have not been very good. They've 1-5. They're getaway days, and that's what it started to look like when that 5 spot got put up on the board. Tony Gonsolin probably thinking he's going to get a sure W. I just got to eat innings to get my team a chance to not wear out the bullpen. Now he's back in line for a possible victory, and he knows his manager was going to let him go to about 90 pitches.
Two and two after the foul ball. And the Dodgers quickly reminding everybody that they do have multiple wins this year, coming back from 5-run deficits. They did it in April in Pittsburgh. We were there for that one. And then against the Phillies in May.
The only thing they did different this inning is they got it done before 2 outs.
3-2.
Just stunned silence. The hat crowd.
Smith to center again, and again caught by Grisham. The Dodgers take it to the Friars in the 4th. An 8 spot, a snowman. Yep, the hits would not stop. The exclamation point, a grand slam for Betts.
Join us on August 15th when the Dodgers take on the Brewers for Mexican Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium, presented by Advance Auto Parts. For tickets and more information, go to dodgers.com/ticketpacks.
With Kirsten Watson and Orr Hershiser, Stephen Nelson here in San Diego. Tony Gonsolin working with the lead? What? Yeah, because the Dodgers scored 8 runs in the top of the 4th inning. Mookie Betts launching the team's 11th grand slam of the year. That ties the franchise watermark set back in 2021. Grounded foul by Cronenworth. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That 8 spot for the Dodgers, they've now scored 7 or more in 6 of the 7 games in August. Talk about the dog days of August creeping up on you, but not on this offense. 54 runs in 6.5 games.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. Yep. We got that going for us.
If you're a golfer, you hate karting a snowman. In baseball, that's an awesome thing. It's the most the Dodgers have scored in a single inning this year.
It's snowing in San Diego.
Like that. 2-2. And Cronenworth his first time up ended up grounding out to short. The first pitch he bunted to the left side trying to catch the defense off guard. It went foul. It was an interesting play for a guy who's got a 9-game hitting streak.
He's trying to get another one, make it 10. But yeah, if he gets the bunt down, it is a hit. They're not begging him to bunt, but they're allowing him to if he wants to.
Gonsolin strikes him out.
Well, those 8 runs will definitely give you a second wind and change your attitude. The brain chemistry for Tony Gonsolin is definitely in a different place than when he was giving up the 5 runs that the Padres got in the last half of their offensive inning.
It was Ji-Man Choi who walked to start the Padres' 5-run third. Native of South Korea, who's missed most of the year because of an Achilles injury, and when he's been healthy just hasn't been able to find it. But the Padres saw enough in the limited action back to bring him in from Pittsburgh. Popped up to Kike Hernandez just beyond the infield. 2 out. Now the catcher Luis Campusano. We put Gonsolin in his book in the 3rd inning. Rolling down the line. That ball is fair. Picked up by Hernandez. And the throw takes Freeman up the line. The ball gets away. Campusano just going to stay on first base.
One time he goes over the fence. This one he goes over the bag. It was a very tough play, and Kike did the best he could. He was deep at third base, charged it well, but hit perfectly down the line and slow enough to turn it into an infield single.
Last of the order for San Diego, it's Trent Grisham. Tries to bunt one, but it goes foul. Grisham singled and scored his last time up.
Just 54 pitches for Tony Gonsolin. That's because of the first 2 innings. He was averaging 9.5, and then the big inning came. And he's still in a good place to be able to go 5 or 6 innings.
Now Hernandez step off the grass, guarding against the bunt in case Grisham wants to try it again. And Grisham 500 lifetime against Gonsolin. If he wants to bunt, okay. 0-2.
Now with 2 strikes, you can play your defense wherever you want, since San Diego has shown that they will attempt the bunt.
Good work by Smith. 1-2. Gonsolin settles in for his 2-2 to Grisham. Campusano off first. Gonsolin with his 2nd strikeout of the inning. After the offense gave him some big time support, he gave them a shutdown frame. Sourdough Jack has slice after slice of bacon, and you can try it at Jack in the Box and by your Southern California Toyota dealer. Beautiful Sunday, sunny. Oh boy, that's an L for Nelson. Beautiful sunny Monday afternoon getaway day for the Dodgers. Max Muncy turns on one, well foul. First pitch of the 5th inning. The Dodgers up by 3. Now if you took a break after the 3rd when the Padres scored 5, make it 5-0. And come back. Yeah. Different baseball game now. 8 runs in the 4th. Max walked and scored in that frame. And on the 1-1 pitch, Muncy swings and misses. Wilson delivers. Muncy checks up, but it doesn't matter.
Looks like Max was thinking that was going to be a ball and had a little bit of tailing action. Had it hit the corner.
Strike 1 to David Peralta. What he did in the 4th.
Right down the line and doing fine. Freddie scores. He ends up at second. Second and third and 1 out. And the explosion began.
To the plate when the dust settled. 0-2 to Peralta is down and in. So no more Seth Lugo for the Padres. It's Steven Wilson, who's actually been a key piece of the bullpen because of the injuries the Padres had at the back end to start in front of Josh Hader. No Suarez, Garcia. It was Wilson who sort of emerged for Bob Melvin.
He's an interesting story in durability and never give up. He had Tommy John surgery in college, and to keep his eligibility going, he had to go to graduate school and had no plans to do that.
It's Peralta to pop up left side. 2 out.
Every path to the big leagues seems to have its own twists and turns. It is not all top prospect #1 draft picks that are playing on this field. A lot of guys that are undrafted, a lot of guys that have been through a lot of injury history that never give up but make it.
Jason Hayward was that top prospect at one point. J-Hay Kid. In the 4th, we asked for the cannon fire, and J-Hay obliged.
Hit very firmly.
He's done it again, but this one will be playable for Tatis. So 1, 2, 3, 5th for Wilson and the Padres. The Dodgers continue to lead.
Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Looking forward to that one, Kirsten. It's all from the future. Here and now, the present. A 3-run lead for Tony Gonsolin in the bottom of the 5th. 1, 2, and 3 due up for the Padres. Kim, Tatis, and Soto. Ah-Sung Kim. 3rd year of a 4-year, $28 million contract signed on New Year's Eve back in 2020. After 7 years in Korea, the KBO starts this inning with a base hit. Now having what is comfortably his best offensive season in Major League Baseball.
I think his new name should be KBO Kim. As long as he is swinging like this, that's what he says. He feels like this is who I was back home.
Turned himself into an incredibly valuable player for the Padres, and will have a chance in 2024 to open up the Padres season in his home country. Grounded to third by Tatis. And the Dodgers quickly turn to.
Freddie Freeman's been at first all year. Kike, first game at third base, throws it to Mookie Betts, not playing right field, but second base. A very sweet turn by Mookie, understanding he has to get rid of it quickly, and uses all of his arm speed to record that double play. Tony Gonsolin, very appreciative.
Second double play ground ball he's induced so far today. Nobody on for Juan Soto.
There is an energy with this Dodger team that is just relentless. They fall behind 5-0 easily on the road, saying, you know what, we're going to go on to Arizona. We split this series. That's good. Just jump right back.
2-out base hit for Soto.
All day long, get ground balls, even if they're hit hard and they fall through like this one. You get another ground ball prior, you get 2 outs. This one goes through. Okay, just keep looking for weak contact on the ground. This infield will take care of it.
Tony's into the heart of things now, though. Cleanup spot, Manny Machado. DH today. Ball 1. Allegedly.
Wow.
Maybe. I think we've had that reaction a few times today on both sides.
Must have blinked.
That'll,
that'll work. It should be 0-2. There are pitches that hurt, and then there are pitches that hurt. And falling behind the count to Machado when you threw him a strike is not good.
Now he's ahead, 1-2.
Let's go to break. Should be over.
If only we had that kind of power.
Yeah.
Machado calling time.
Two of the sharpest breaking balls, off-speed pitches that Tony has thrown, and there's the one they didn't call. We've seen that outside corner of the Dodgers be called balls also. And a little warning on how quick you're coming set. Manny Machado very sensitive about that in this series, and has drawn the attention of the umpires to that with the whole Dodger pitching staff.
Eye contact. He wants it. They're good for this one, too. Pulled foul.
Soto with a false break over there at first base. Looked like he was thinking about going. Shut it down. Home run hitter at the plate. You do not want to get thrown out and record the 3rd out at second base.
Playing it safe next to Freeman. Pitch home. Strike 3. Swinging. A scoreless 5th for Gonsolin, who now has 3 punch-outs.
Not his best breaking ball, but the most effective.
Let's take you inside the box score, brought to you by your Lexus dealers. That's how the box looked for the Dodger lineup today. Everybody's gotten aboard. That's 2 consecutive games.
Everybody on the Dodger roster, on the offensive side of the roster, has reached base in this series. Max Muncy, the only one without a hit. He has walked.
Now Hernandez with a fly ball to left. Soto's going to run out of room. Kike Hernandez is first back in Dodger blue. It's 9-5.
It is so much fun to bring energy to a roster and also perform. In some ways, it makes your jokes and your energy that much more accurate and fun, and to be part of it. And Kike, holy smokes, what you have brought back to the Dodgers, not only the energy and the fun, but this kind of production. Lots of doubles, but that a big fly.
Right up to Robert Van Scoyoc, 7th of the year, first since the 9th of June. He was in a Red Sox uniform back then, folks. That was the greeting for Scott Barlow out of the bullpen for the Padres. One ball, 2 strikes on James Outman. Kansas City Royal delivers and misses down and away. Now he was the bigger name of the Royals pitchers that were moved, but it has not been his best year. Now 3-2.
Joining the best pitching staff in the National League. Dodgers have not let them act like the best pitching staff in the National League. They have really tattooed this staff coming into this series. The ERA was really low for these guys, and they were on a hot streak. The Dodgers have said, no, not us.
Way to work a walk. James Outman aboard for the 3rd time today. And there was a good stretch where you see James Outman get down 0-2 this year, and you're like, okay, well,
the at bat's over. They usually would attack him with a down and in breaking ball or a high fastball. Now he gets to stand over there at first base and dive back because of the good at bat.
That's why Dave Roberts said he's not a rookie anymore. He came out of that fire. Barlow gets a call on Rojas, and that fire probably felt a lot hotter and like it lasted a lot longer to him than it did to us. Does have a stolen base in the series. The Dodgers have been running.
Talked about how the Padres pitching staff came into this series throwing the ball really well, #1 in the National League in earned run average. They've given them 30 runs in 32 innings against the Dodgers. Acting more like the worst pitching staff in the National League, but they are not. It's the Dodger offense that has been so spectacular.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Said it before, and I'll say it again. If Rojas gets on without recording an out, this could get ugly.
The danger is lurking. Barlow's 2-2 with Outman going. It's foul.
I'm just glad James is okay. Those are the ones that foul ball and you're going into second and you're between sliding and standing up. And he was decelling at the bag and did not slide.
So we'll do the 2-2 again. Same result.
With Outman at first, McGee on that breaking ball right there looked like he was trying to shoot the hole over there on the right side of the diamond. He's very good at bat control at bats.
Bounce to second. Outman is going to be safe. Now he takes off for third. Rojas at second as the ball bounced by Cronenworth with the traffic in front of him.
McGee was trying to shoot that hole over on the right side, doesn't hit it very well, but this chopper really turns into 2 outstanding base running moves. Outman with the distraction right there doesn't interfere at all. and then Miggy becomes the third base coach, or the coach, go, 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 I'm coming. And so not only hitting the ball, getting to first, but continue on and helping his teammate with some coaching, waving him around.
Second and third for the Dodgers. Now the T-Mobile coverage cam turning on. Turning back the clock to this. Grand slam, Mookie Betts. Gave the Dodgers an 8-5 lead. Now 9-5. Betts can provide some more. Still nobody out in the sixth. First pitch grounded right side. Runners aren't going to go anywhere. Troy will take it himself.
Padres going all out, bringing the infield in with no outs, and they get rewarded for their defensive positioning.
And with first base open, intentional walk issued to Freeman.
Not only avoids Freddie's bat, it sets up the double play.
Mound visit for Ruben Niebla. So before that fielder's choice for Betts, the ground out to first, Dodgers were perfect 5 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Will Smith will have his crack at it. Chance to make the Padres pay after the intentional walk in front of him. And look, he can objectively see that as a move that makes sense, but still, they walked him to get to me.
It does get a little personal. And puts a little fire in your belly. Will with the base hit up the middle, his first at bat on a breaking ball. A little review of strategy before the first pitch of this at bat is thrown.
Bases loaded and one down. First pitch to Smith is fouled back. Better than 350 with the bases loaded to Smith. Ball one is high. Barlow's 1-1. Smith swings and pokes it through the right side. Outman comes home. 10-5 and the bases loaded again.
You get hit over the head by a Mookie Betts grand slam, and then you get tortured by a cue shot by Will Smith. Bases loaded. We're just gonna hit it over there to right field, just softly. Miguel Rojas hit it softly in that area. One in the air, one on the ground. Both ends up as hits.
Now Muncy swings at the first pitch. That's fair. Into the corner. Rojas scores. Freeman follows. A two-run double for Max.
Now every Dodger on the roster has a hit in this series. Max was the only one without one, but he had walked. So they've all reached base, but now they all have hits. This one a hard hit ball. A couple of soft hit balls found some base hits earlier. Now rips it down the line like Peralta did earlier.
Barlow being told he has to engage the eyes with David Peralta. Speaking of Peralta, back up. Second and third, one down.
Padres 3 games out in the wild card spot. They've got to jump over 3 teams. Dodgers trying to continually make it more and more difficult for him to get into the playoff picture.
Jam shot to center. Grisham has it. Smith will tag. The throw isn't going to matter. Baker's dozen for the Dodgers.
You don't lose many games where you bat around twice on the offensive side.
And that is what they've done here in the 6th, just like in the 4th. Well, it does bring about a question of baseball semantics. You say 9 to the plate is batting around, or it has to be 10 to say batting around?
Nomar has some deep relationships with this question.
Noam's text.
Noam's
no, he could write a novel.
It'll be 3 or 4 paragraphs of Noam's text.
Action for the Padres.
You don't argue with Georgia Tech engineering guys.
No. 1-1 the count to Hayward. Waves through strike 2. Barlow delivers. Hayward is called out. Strike 3. 9 to the plate in the 6th inning. 13 unanswered for the Dodgers, including Kike Hernandez launching his first homer.
Friday on an all-new Backstage Dodgers presented by Cadillac. Clayton Kershaw and his wife Ellen host Kershaw's Dodger teammates and Hollywood A-listers at their annual Ping Pong for Purpose charity event at Dodger Stadium. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers. That's Friday after the postgame show.
Fly ball from Bogarts, pushing Outman to the track in front of the wall.
No problem.
It's okay, Oral. I know you were stressed about that. It's all right.
You don't want the ball to leave the ballpark when you're reading a promo.
It didn't. Hey, remember when the Dodgers were down 5-0 and it's like, Tony. Hey, now he's in line for a victory. It's 13-5. The Dodgers scored 8 in the 4th, 5 more in the 6th. Now attention turns to Gonsolin and the bullpen to try and finish off this series strong.
Well, the storyline has been the veteran starters need to get it going. And I know the offense picked up Tony today, but Lance Lynn has been a warrior and a quality warrior since coming to the Dodgers. Goes 6 innings yesterday. Tony here now in the 6th. See what Julio Urias does tomorrow. And he hasn't pitched past the 5th. That's Tony Gonsolin since before the break. So it'd be really good to see him go 6. His longest outing of the year is 6 2/3. That was back on July 7th against Anaheim.
Fall behind Cronenworth 3-0. Down the chute for strike 1.
No movement in the Dodger bullpen, even though it was a 3-0 count. Dave Roberts going to try and stretch Tony.
Cronenworth finds the fairway in right center. It will be extra bases. A stand-up double with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th.
Could be some action down the pen now. Cronenworth over the last couple of weeks really starting to put it together.
On a 10-game hit streak.
Starting to swing the bat like they thought he would when he signed him to his contract extension.
It's his second hit against Gonsolin lifetime. And 16 ABs. That does include the postseason. As Tony delivers strike one to Choi. Too high.
Baseball has so many personalities, doesn't it? You just sometimes you're trying to predict how the game's going to go. Oh, Gonsolin's going to be on the beam. He's going to do well. Lugo's been throwing the ball well, but they're going against two offenses that have an awful lot of all-stars.
And just when you think you've had a game figured out, the sport says,
it jumps up and bites you.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Choi. With Cronenworth in scoring position. And Choi pulls one to the right side. It will hook out of play.
Probably going to need a new bat.
Yeah.
That didn't have the Jason Hayward sound. The shattering sound. .78 pitches, no action in the bullpen. Dave Roberts said he would go to about 90 or so with him.
That one hit much better by Choi, but right to Hayward. And play out there to secure the second out.
This read was like a novel. Jason reading it the whole way. This was not routine. It was very much, is it going to have topspin go down? Is it going to have backspin and go over my head? I've got to stay with this one, and he did very well.
Now the 2-for-2 Campusano. He's batting .361 his last 10 games. He's driven in 9. So a huge void or position of, how do I say this cleanly? Position that sparked a lot of conversation for Padres fans has been the catcher spot. As Campusano gets a hold of another one, giving it a ride to left, it will be foul. Oh, that is awesome. The reaction. Good work, DP. Freeze frame or the GIF will play there. 1 and 2 now on Campusano. Okay, let's say it quickly. Padres fans have been trying to figure out the catching position for a long time. Getting more production out of that spot. But between the production, Campusano and Gary Sanchez of late.
It's been good. Starting to figure it out.
2 and 2.
Campusano the home run today, and then the infield hit right down the third baseline that almost touched the bag before Kike grabbed it. That ball down the line where Peralta gives the souvenir away was almost a double. He'd be working on the cycle.
And now to the gap in left center. It'll get down. Campusano 3 for 3. He's trying for second. The tag. There. Tried to stretch when they need base runners. Now the run did score, but the inning is over.
They do need base runners, but with 2 outs, he's thinking, I'm going to try and get into scoring position. They're trying to figure out this catching position. I don't think either one can run very well. Here's the tag at second. This ends the inning.
Tried the scissor kick.
Very creative slide.
You're watching Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA, and it's brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Good times. Definitely better times for the Dodgers since falling behind 5-0. They've outscored San Diego 13-1. Now Luis Garcia will take over for Scott Barlow, and the Dodgers punished in his couple appearances this week.
Sinker slider mainly.
First batter faces Kike Hernandez. Kike's last time up. Lift off. Now Hernandez 12 for 35 in his second go around with the team. Takes ball one in the dirt. 6 of those 12 extra base hits. 7 driven in. That's Joe Kelly now warming up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Johnson getting through 6 full. All 6 runs for the Padres earned on 9 hits. As Kirsten detailed at the top of the broadcast, 90 pitches was going to be the limit for Gonsolin. Getting through 6 on 84. His afternoon done. A payoff pitch coming to Kike. Garcia strikes him out.
Dodger offense exceptional again today. Coming into this game, in this series, they had scored most of their runs from the home run, 7 of the 11. And they weren't hitting very well with runners in scoring position. They were actually 3 for 20 before today. Now they are 7 for 9 just today with runners in scoring position. Getting it done a different way, but getting it done in a big way.
And the most runs the Dodgers have scored against the Padres in about 5 years. 23rd of August in 2018. He scored 14 runs against San Diego. Now Outman, and with a base hit, just a great job by James. It's his 3rd hit of the day. Not trying to do too much, but get on base.
Leave the extra base hits to everybody else. He'll take his 3 singles. Dodgers with 6 extra base hits today. It's the 24th time that they've had 6 or more extra base hits in a game. That tells you that they're boom or bust. No, they're boom or really good.
'97 down the middle to Rojas. Mickey Rowe has a chance to follow Outman for the 3rd single. Third hit, I should say, at the double. He's fallen behind Garcia 0-2.
He'd like to hit it a little harder than he did his last hit. That was that ground ball where Outman did a good job shielding Cronenworth, keeping him from fielding the ball.
98 by Rojas, got a piece, but into the glove of Camposano. 2nd strikeout for Garcia. Turn the lineup over and say hello again to Mookie Betts. Let's see that grand slam one more time. And we might show it again later.
And if you watch the post game, I bet you they're going to show it too.
Once or twice.
Hey, you want to get on TV? Hit a granny in the big leagues.
Dodgers now with 11 this year. Now back into the seats by Betts, 1-1. Home run leaderboard pulls into a tie with Pete Alonso. 9 behind Shohei Ohtani. 4 off his career high mark of 35.
Mookie the leader in power per pound. Those names there, definitely he would be the lightest.
And Mookie be the first to tell you that.
He has found great ways to use his particular lever system.
Hit on the button, but on a line to Cronenworth. So Outman stranded after the 1-out single. Still 13-6.
The legacy of Fernando Valenzuela, presented by Yamava. For tickets and more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Wouldn't miss that for the world, Kirsten. Special weekend at Dodger Stadium honoring one of the all-time greats.
Fernando is a great teammate. Joe Kelly is a great teammate. And the Dodgers in the clubhouse, they are absolutely thrilled that he is back. Not only for the clubhouse situation, personality, but for the arm. Throwing the ball better than ever. This will be his 3rd outing with the Dodgers. 1 in this series already, and 1 back home where he had a bases loaded situation where he got a strikeout.
First pitch in the zone at 99. It is Grisham, Kim, and Tatis Jr. due up against Kelly. So grab some popcorn, will you? 0-2. That's 100 from Joe.
Every at bat against Joe Kelly is personal. Joe makes it personal. He is such a competitor and a gamer, and not afraid to show his emotions on the mound or to the hitter, which is something that everybody kind of gravitates towards, his teammates and the opponent.
Gets Grisham to chase strike 3.
The fans love him too. I mean,
oh yeah.
Talk about rounds of applause for Kike Hernandez and Joe Kelly and their return. Dodger faithful really showed how much they love both those guys.
Not only has he been a nasty arm, he's been a reliable meme machine. It's for Dodgers Twitter.
You evaluate players on all the different tools, the offensive players, you know. Joe's got the 6th tool.
Just off the plate, 2-0 to Kim.
And he's the sweetest, nicest guy. But when he puts his game face on, it's a different person. And that's okay. What do they call that? An alter ego?
Yeah. I feel like you hear about it a lot with pitchers, especially.
Yeah.
Relief pitchers coming out of the bullpen.
Very rarely with left-handers, though.
No, yeah.
They're usually goofy right through.
Evens the count. 100 by Kim.
One of the hardest fastballs in the big leagues, and one of the hardest breaking balls in the big leagues coming out of the same arm.
Trying to pull your hands in to catch up to that, you could hurt yourself.
Nine seconds on the clock, taking plenty of time here.
Strike three. 101 for Kelly.
A little extra time, a deep breath, and a strikeout. With this flashback, Tatis against Joe Kelly. Hello.
A couple up and in. Tatis didn't like it. They got him off the plate. Had some words. The Padres star. His first pitch today down in the dirt.
It was a very old school at bat.
Get off my plate, and then I'm going to put you away.
It was well done if you're thinking about the pitcher. (13-6), but Tatis swinging, fouling it off, and kind of staring out at Joe Kelly like, oh, okay. Back-to-back breaking balls, huh? What about 13-6? Challenge me. Three breaking balls. Yep. Interesting count right here if you want to get him off your breaking ball away. Some people would say a fastball inside would do that.
Kelly has one he likes for this 1-2. 4 in a row. He did go around. Joe Kelly strikes out the side in the 7th. Grisham by. Kim by. Tatis Jr. Thanks to Joe Kelly, Dodgers fans ever closer to free Jumbo Jacks tomorrow. They now got 6 thanks to his 3 in the top of the 7th. So 4 more and everyone gets a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow by buying a large drink and a Jack in the Box in the LA area. It's a 7-run lead on the top of the 8th inning. Dodgers trying to extend their lead, not just in this game, but within the National League West. Freeman pokes another one out of play to stay alive. Entered Monday ahead of the Giants 4 games. Got some help from the Oakland A's, who beat San Francisco 2 in a row. So 4 in front of San Francisco, 8.5 in front of Arizona, 10 in front of San Diego, pending the results here at Petco. Afterwards, Dave Robertson Company will take off for Phoenix, 2 at Chase Field on Tuesday and Wednesday. Another 0-2 on the way to Freeman. Lost arm side. Petco Park crowd is thinned out a little bit.
Little bit. Still, the majority of them have their giveaway hats on.
Now you're starting to hear the young Dodger fans in attendance trying to spark a "Let's Go Dodgers" chant.
Now that the shadows are creeping in on the left field side, people taking their hats off over there. But in general, 90% of the people had the hats on when the sun was engulfing the whole stadium.
Now a 2-2, and Freddie Freeman. God, he was down 0-2. Did not matter. Never does.
The game is not this easy, Freddie, and you have put the work in to make it look this easy.
You know, there was an interview you and Nomar did with Freddie at FanFest before the season began. And my buddy Mark DeRosa on MLB Central re-cued that this morning when talking about Freddie Freeman's hot stretch. named National League Player of the Week. This game got going. But talking about how what has led to him being so consistent is his consistency within the approach. He said you could have the perfect swing. As that's popped in the air right side in foul territory. Choi fighting the sun. Ooh, he's got it. Okay. You can have the best swing in the world, be mechanically sound, but if you don't have an approach at the plate, it's not gonna matter.
It's so true, because if your mind is off and fluctuating between different thoughts and different approaches mentally, then that's going to affect what you do physically, and especially your consistency. There are times when you can be kind of quote unquote brain dead as far as like just go up there and react, but it's not going to stay with you. So you've got to have an approach, a conscious approach, to be able to do things day in and day out the way Freddie does. I mean, it'll feel cumbersome when you first put yourself in that outline. It'll feel like the game is harder than when you were doing it well, naturally and not thinking about it. And that's a big step for minor leaguers to big leaguers that are consistent, because if you have enough talent, you can play at lower levels than your ability without really trying mentally. It just happens. You're just better than people. But you do reach a level where everybody on the field is almost as good as you, and you have to bring in another component into your game, and that is usually the mental side, not only on the field or in the batter's box, but before the game, in the on-deck circle, speaking with your coaches, going over scouting reports. That mental side of work can feel real cumbersome to natural athletes, and not everybody can make that step to now engaging their brain in the midst of competition.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Muncy. And that's all of that is why, if you're a fan, and especially a young ball players out there who are inspired by Freddie Freeman, watch him work, but not just between innings 1 and 9. Encourage you to come out to Dodger Stadium at BP, or meet us on the road and go out early and watch him BP. Him and Mookie. They may make it look like they roll out of bed and collect multiple knocks a game, but it's from the work.
Let me tell you what's going on in his brain when he leads off at first base right now. He's gauging his lead. He's understanding what body part on the pitcher moves first when he's going home compared to when he's coming to first to pick him off. He's gauging his secondary lead as he jumps off as the pitch is delivered, and then he's tracking the ball to see where it's put in play, on the line, on the ground, or in the air. And he already understands where all the fielders are and how he's going to react to those different angles as the ball leaves the bat, by height, by velocity, by where the fielders are playing. He's already registered most of that in his brain, and he's grinding on it as every single pitch. And that is a different gymnastic than most.
Once he's worked the count full, so now the 3-2. He's down swinging. He put up a good fight.
And I will tell you that Freddie's impact, Dave Roberts talked about it today with Kirsten, about when your best player, one of your best players with Mookie, if they are setting a tone of how to approach an at bat, how to drive a run in, how to just make contact, how to foul pitches off and grind in an at bat no matter what the situation, he says everybody is being impacted by that. Running the bases correctly every single time. Raises the bar for everyone.
Alta swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out in the top of the 8th inning. Hey, Kirsten, what more can you add about Freddie Freeman? You're down there every single game with him.
Yeah, Steven. So I was having a conversation with Danny Lehman about this, the bench coach, and he was saying that the other big thing that Freddie and really just this veteran group, they preach consistency. And so for the younger guys, whether it's in the rotation like Bobby Miller or Emmett Sheehan or Michael Grove when they're here, or it's someone like James Outman in the outfield, for them to see that consistency and the hard work they put in every single day, those are such valuable lessons.
Peralta in the air to left field, flies out just in front of the warning track. 7.5 have gone by here at Petco Park. Dodger bullpen trying to lock things down, up 7. What's coming after the game? It's Access Sportsnet Dodgers. John Hartung, Jerry Harrison Jr., and Nomar Garcia Park. Kirsten Watson provides some coverage on site. And some sound back to you. Oh, yeah, a lot of offense, Jay here. A lot of offense. The Dodgers today, and here to begin the month of August. Brian Hudson recalled from Oklahoma City on Sunday, taking the roster spot of Michael Grove, who was placed on the injured list with some lat tightness. So he'll face Soto, Machado, and Bogarts. Welcome back to the majors.
There's the big leagues and then there's the major leagues, and the Dodgers are definitely the major leagues. That was an old Tommy Lasorda saying when guys would either come from other organizations, free agent signings, he would say, welcome to the major leagues.
Chop foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Soto. Will be a free agent after next year. And he's had a strong 2023. Sparking speculation about a possible extension, but in all likelihood heading to free agency next year.
There's going to be a lot of articles written about Soto in the offseason. What the Padres are going to do with him. Are they going to try and sign him to an extension? Are they going to think about trading him? Are they just going to play it out and wait till the next trade deadline next year and see how the whole thing plays out?
Soto right back at Hudson. Stopped by Rojas on 1 hop. Throws across in time.
Miggy has made that play twice today. Dropping down to a knee, getting back up quickly, and then gunning it over to first in almost that same exact position as he changes his posture, puts the glove on it, and guns it to first. One more time.
Begin to read that properly too off the bat, instead of like, hey, that's on a line, should I charge for it?
The harder the ball's hit, the more the infielders want to create an angle so that they can judge where to put their glove. Now, the olden days, they used to teach you to get in front of it, square up, and block that ball if you can't catch it. That is no way, as hard as the ball is hit today, that you want to block that. You'll be out for a week. Be a deep, deep bruise.
Yeah, Coach, you get in front.
Yeah, but they have learned in doing that they try and create the angle to give them that perspective of when the ball's right at them. What kind of little angle can I at least give myself to kind of calculate where to put my glove?
Hudson ahead of Machado. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He got him.
96 from the low arm angle. Getting down the hill. Front leg lands, and he doesn't just throw then. He just keeps moving towards the hitter. Gives you better relative velocity.
Still nobody on. 2 out. Xander Bogaerts, who's 0 for 3 today. Had a couple of deep flyouts, though. 382 feet and 385. The Dodgers will visit Fenway Park this month.
I'll be there.
I'll be there with you.
That is a pretty ballpark.
And I think it's still jarring for many in New England to see Xander Bogaerts in a uniform that doesn't say Red Sox or Boston across the chest. He signed a 6-year, $120 million deal with Boston in 2019 that included an opt-out clause. And based on the shortstop market, it was a foregone conclusion that Xander Bogaerts would make himself a free agent. He didn't want to leave Boston. San Diego opened up the bank account, backed up the Brinks truck to make him a Padre. Brian Hudson didn't care about any of that. A 1-2-3-8. Take a look at the Nissan calendar after this one wraps up. On a bird to Arizona, 2 at Chase Field, then back home, 4 against the Colorado Rockies. All your coverage right here on Sportsnet LA. Tom Cosgrove, a new reliever for San Diego. You see his numbers as he prepares for his 32nd appearance of 2023. Due to face 6, 7, and 8 for the Dodgers. Pinch hitting for Jason Hayward. Ahmed Rosario.
Another new guy that's doing so well. I mean, if you have the trade deadline and you give organizations grades, they do that on different websites and different places, different newspapers. Are there newspapers still, or they just call themselves newspapers, but they're on there? You actually can get the hard copy. I think the LA Times goes out at about 500,000 copies now of the hard copies. But as far as subscribers, but you know, I think you wait a couple weeks after the trade deadline, and the Dodgers grade is going to change completely by evaluators.
A 2-strike pitch sent to center. Cronenworth back and has it.
There were some so-called experts, of course, that, you know, said the Dodgers didn't do enough. And what did they really do? They didn't get their man, but they got a lot of men. Those guys are doing really well. Really top of the charts as far as performance at the trade deadline with the guys they've acquired.
One newcomer gives way to another. Kike Hernandez, though, Dodger fans much more familiar with him as he receives strike 1.
There's so much goes behind, you know, who you're trading for, right? You have to have a good trading partner. There has to be somebody else who wants to make the deal with you. So even when you don't get somebody, you go, oh, why didn't they get him? Look, he went over there. Well, the other organization had a word in it also.
Hernandez flies out to right. We loved having Brandon Gomes in the booth the last homestand to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit on that. And look, you know, the numbers of all the newcomers, they were there to be judged and judged fairly. And I think all the guys who were acquired will tell you that this has been a brutal year, worst year ever, a down year. So a credit to them, the coaching staff, the support staff behind the scenes, the folks that we don't see all the time in the dugout, for putting in the time and effort to get them right and in a position to help this ball club.
Hey, just like the draft, they're watching video of everybody, and they're going to the coaches and the whole organization going, if we got this guy, could we help him? Could we help fix him? Could we get him back to where he was? And so that's part of the evaluation too. And then the second piece of it, especially for the Dodgers that have such great chemistry in the clubhouse, is what kind of guy is he, and is he going to fit into the culture that Dave Roberts and the coaching staff and the front office have assembled? And every piece has fit in perfectly. They knew Joe Kelly. They knew Kike. They had heard about Lance Lynn and the warrior mentality that he has. They knew about Rosario and his willingness to be coached and to change positions. So there is so much depth going into an acquisition, just like there is with a draft. And not to brag about the organization or look like I'm an apologist, but the Dodgers have proved now that they're better almost than anyone else. when it comes to fixing people, acquiring people, having them fit into a culture.
3-2 now on James Outman.
So much was made of Andrew Friedman coming and becoming a Dodger that everybody was like, oh, they're going to turn into all analytics. They're going to turn into all numbers. It's going to be all data. Well, they were so wrong.
Outman pulls to right field. Tatis after it, off the wall. James Outman 4 for 4. And has reached all 5 times up.
The grit, the determination, a young man that battled through a very long slump and is now graduated to be called by his manager a veteran. And it's all within his first year. Still working on the dancing.
And alone there. Second 4-hit game of his young career. On in front of Rojas. Miggy Rowe has a couple of hits today. He's boosted his average a little bit. And even though the average and OPS down relative to the rest of the league, he's had some big knocks. Some clutch hits, RBI hits.
I'm big on the gram, as quote unquote, not my generation calls it. As far as following people that are motivational speakers, hold it together.
Now Rojas lifted to left field. Soto reaches up and hauls it in.
I will get back to my Graham story.
Yeah, can't wait.
Next inning.
Cannot wait.
It's 13-6.
Cannot wait.
You will wait. You will not change the channel.
I want to hear it now. Oh no. There's what's right and there's what's right. Never the twain shall meet, but I'm going to get out of your way.
Well, I follow motivational speakers or coaches on the gram, quote unquote. And the one thing that I have noticed with coaches that are great coaches is they all say, I am not here to coach effort. If you want to be great, the reason you're here is because I've already seen consistent effort. And that is one of the things that the Dodgers look for. They don't want to have to coach effort. And it's a really special quality. And most guys that you're looking for that in them, you watch them off ball, you watch them when they're struggling, because that's when effort wanes. Effort wanes when you're not the focus, and effort wanes when you are struggling and you get depressed. Not coaching effort, those are the people that are going to end up being great or have the best chance of being great.
Sent right back by him, but Rojas is there again. One down. Pinch hitter for Choi, and called upon by Bob Melvin. It's Matthew Batten. Just a quick reminder, I think it bears repeating, the Dodgers trailed 5-0 after the third. 5 spot for the Padres. Thinking, okay, I guess this is a reverse of yesterday, just like Saturday was a reverse of Friday. And split the series, get to Arizona. The Dodgers had other plans. They punched right back in the top of the fourth. 8 in an inning, the most runs they've scored in a single inning all year long. Followed it up with 5 in the 6th.
The Dodgers took the scenario of, I don't need to watch this anymore because the decision's already been made, and said, oh, we're going to flip that. You don't have to watch anymore because we're going to win. not we're going to lose.
Ground ball left side. Rojas on a hop again. Oh, Miggy Rowe. Rinse and repeat.
Have a day. Who needs to stand on their feet to play shortstop? I like to go on one knee. You don't practice that. That's just something that's kind of innate. He knows how to do it, but people don't hit bullets at you in practice.
Right. First pitch swing for Campusano, left center field, and that ball will carry up and out.
Everybody watched to see if it was enough. Campusano, right out of the box, knew it was enough. It was enough by about 6-8 feet.
And now 13-7 after his second of the game. 4-for-4 day for the Padre catcher. Trent Grisham understandably didn't like that. And Hudson's going to take that. Strike one. One more strike. What did you say the Dodgers record on getaway days was?
It was 1-5 since the All-Star break. I'm going to flip that script.
Grisham lines a base hit to right.
Mookie out there playing a very deep second base.
The leadoff batter, Kim.
Hudson doing his job, just throwing strikes with this scoreboard the way it's at. Waiting for somebody to hit and at somebody. Your pitch selection is not always strategic in this situation. You're trying to get them out, yes, but you are going for halves of the plate instead of corners. You're defaulting to the pitch that throws a strike no matter what the situation. It's a good job giving up the home run and then getting right back in the strike zone.
That's strike two.
Back at it. One more strike.
Just off.
That side of the plate has been tight today, no matter who's been throwing.
Yeah.
The other side of the plate has not been liberal, but called accurately.
Popped up. It's Freeman's ball. That's a win for LA. 13-7, the final in San Diego. The Dodgers take 3 of 4 from the Padres.
3 or 4 will lead to a happy flight to Arizona. Couple there, and then they return home. And when we get home, we'll be honoring Fernando Valenzuela.
Dodgers have now beaten San Diego 8 out of 10 times this year. And that pushes the Padres to 11 behind LA for the division lead. Let's get on that happy flight now. After the game, Sports Access Sportsnet Dodgers. John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Nomar Garcia-Parra. It's all yours. So for Kirsten Watson, Oral Hershiser, and our terrific crew, I'm Steven Nelson. Thanks for watching. We'll do it again from the desert tomorrow.